Hey everyone, today I wanted to do a quick review of the Kebonnixs incubator. This is a $60 incubator that you can get off of Amazon. There are a lot of incubators on Amazon. They all look very similar, so I figured I'd give this one a review to help people figure out what to buy. I've had this incubator for 3 years now, and I use it constantly. Currently, I am incubating quail eggs here, and these are all the attachments that come with it. You have the egg turning yellow piece here, and you can fit 2 quail eggs per egg slot if you're doing quail, or 1 chicken or duck egg per egg slot if you're doing chickens or ducks. There are 12 slots total, so you can do 24 quail or 12 chickens or 12 ducks. I've had great success with this incubator. It's fairly simple to use. So first of all, you have an egg turner here. There's a motor that you can test by pressing plus, and it will turn on demand there. But that also runs every, I think, like 10 or 15 minutes to turn your eggs automatically, so you don't need to worry about egg turning. It has a temperature and humidity gauge, which are fairly accurate from what I can tell. I've been using it for 3 years, like I said. It works fine. It keeps at 99.5 by default. However, you can change this by holding the menu button for, I think, 3 seconds, and by holding the menu button, you can change the max temperature and you can change the number of days. So by default, the incubator is configured to run for 21 days. However, for quail, it's about 18 days. So I just hold the menu button, like I said, and subtract 3 days from the default. The humidity gauge works great. I have a water bottle here, and every day I just pour a little bit of water in this little side pouch here, and it feeds water into the incubator. And I try to keep it around 50% for quail. I think that's roughly similar for chickens and ducks. I don't know, maybe 50 to 60%, but you'll have to look it up online for the best numbers. I've never had an issue keeping the humidity up by just using this right here and pouring a tiny bit of water in every day. The only thing that I will say about this is it does get quite dusty over time. You can see the interior here is dusty. I pre-dusted this before I turned on the incubator for this attempt. I have 5 days left for these quail eggs before they hatch. So it will pick up some dust. I haven't had an issue with that dust. However, you might need a compressed air can to remove the dust from the fan. There's a fan at the top of the incubator. So this is just a top piece that you can just pick up and remove. The incubator also comes with a pretty handy egg candling feature. So it has this little light right here. You can press minus, turns on this light. You stick your egg right on that light and you turn it around a little bit. And typically in the after about 3 or 4 days, you should be able to candle your eggs and see that there are some like veins or something in there to show that there's movement or growth. And if there isn't any growth, then you can toss the egg. So it's useful for candling. You can just pop off this top here, picking this up, and take your eggs out and start candling with this. And once you're done, you put the eggs back in the incubator, put the top back on, and that's only like a few minutes outside the incubator, so your eggs won't be harmed at all. Only other negative I can think about for this incubator is that the floor here is basically just a typical hard plastic floor, and I've noticed that, at least for my baby quail, when they hatch, they often have trouble standing up. If they're weaker, they might even get splay leg. Because the flooring is a little bit slippery. I've put down like a rubbery like drawer mat in there before, but it gets caught up in the egg turner sometimes, so I've just kind of deal with it. Oh, there's the egg turner going. Yeah, I kind of deal with the slipperiness. It hasn't been a huge issue. If the quail get splay leg, it fixes itself once I move them out of the incubator after everyone hatches. Is this worth $60? I would say so. I think it's a pretty good incubator. Like I said, I've had it for 3 years. Works great. I've had no issues with it, really. Just make sure you keep it clean. And if you need to, you can put something on the bottom there for a non-stick so that your babies don't have splay leg. However, I think it might not be that much of an issue, especially for chicks and ducks. Quail are just smaller and a little bit more fragile. Thanks for watching.